My name is Kathy Baumgardner-Hetrick, and Steve Philippi and I undertook a very large project this year of the 250th anniversary of Palmyra. We have decided to do some oral histories of people who have lived in Palmyra. Most of them are over the age of 80 or 85, and we asked them to tell us their story about Palmyra so that we could put together a DVD that you're going to watch now that has the stories of Palmyra based on the people who have lived here. We hope you enjoy it. We've had a fun time doing it, and we think you'll learn a lot about Palmyra and the history of Palmyra through the stories of Palmyra.
My name is Eleanor Jean Witmer. I go by E. Jean Witmer, and I was born 1932 on the Cyrus Goodman farm, a half-mile south of the square in Palmyra.
And you were a Lehman when you were
Yes,
born.
I was the daughter of Brant and Anna Goodman Lehman.
Okay. So that's why you were on the farm, because your mother was a Goodman.
Her dad's farm.
Okay.
I never knew my grandfather, but my grandmother lived on the other side of the house with my Aunt Sarah, and so therefore it was quite convenient. If we wanted a lap to sit on or to be loved, all we had to do was go next door. And she was a very sweet Mennonite lady. I have fond memories of her. We always said we went over there to get a lot of butter on our bread.
Oh, what a wonderful way to put it. That's great. So then you went to the Palmyra schools?
Yes, I attended what is now Interfaith, was the grade school, and we walked to school and we walked home for lunch and back.
No,
Something that isn't heard of today.
No, that's right. That's right.
Well, I graduated on June the 3rd of 1949 and June the 6th of 1949, which was the following Monday, I went to work at the Valley Trust.
Oh, okay.
And I worked there from, let's see, 1949 to 1959. And then my husband, who worked at Hershey Brothers Garage, decided he wanted to buy the Twin Kiss. So he trained at the Ephrata store in Ephrata, and I stayed at the bank another year, and then we decided we could see our way clear to run.
So there was a former owner of the Twin Kiss?
Yes.
I always connect you to the Twin Kiss, so I didn't know that there was a former
It was
owner.
just an ice cream building, and it had facilities in the back for subs and hot dogs. And then he worked, I stayed in the bank another year, and he worked there mostly with one or two people. Then the business grew, and he decided we should go into the food business. So, and I sort of was mostly in the kitchen, and he was in the ice cream side. And we had it for 30 years.
Is that how long it was? 30 years. Well,
We sold out in August of '88.
that's fantastic. I mean, most people who grew up in Palmyra have fond memories of the Twin Kiss and of the Whitmers being there. And what changes did you see in that time frame? That would have been from like early 50s through the 80s. A lot of things happened in Palmyra in that time.
Oh, yes. Well, of course, my aunt and uncle had the Nancy Lou down the road, my Aunt Sarah and Uncle Pat. And then, of course, we got a Wendy's across the street, and we were really concerned when Wendy's came. But mostly, we had very good relationships. I always said I went to the bank for Wendy's on a weekend. Every time they needed change, they came over to the Twin Kiss for change. Yeah. So we had a good relationship. We had no problems. It really didn't hurt.
Well, now, when you first started with the Twin Kiss, you weren't open all year long then, were you?
No, we never were. We closed when daylight saving went off, we closed.
Oh, okay.
That was our key. And then we tore the whole place apart, and literally tore the whole place apart and cleaned for a week. And we had wonderful employees, you know, that's the most important thing. And of course it was the key employees that helped to clean. And then we usually went to Florida for about 10 days, and then soon it was time to start up again.
Start up,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah.
And the one funny thing about Ken, you probably didn't know it, but he had a heart of gold.
Oh, yes, I remember
And
that.
he always sterilized the machine and tried it out the day before we opened to make sure it worked. And of course the weather was getting nice and kids were riding around on bikes, and then he'd say, I'm just going to throw this away. I'm going to give it to them. Well, every year when it was time to open, all those kids were there on their bikes.
They knew the day.
Milkshakes, and they had to have everything.
Oh, that's
He was a very generous person.
That's
And
funny.
I told him he was never going to have children, so 3 doctors told me that. So we had it, well, let's see, Sean was born in 64, so we had it about 5 years, and I was pregnant. He said, now's a fine time, we're in debt. He
Oh,
said, look, honey, I didn't do this myself.
oh, that's wonderful that you had a daughter, and you raised her in Palmyra.
Yeah, she worked there.
Well, I know a lot of
In the
people
summer.
have come into the headquarters and said, "Oh, I used to work at the Twin Kiss. That's where I got my start." And so you provided that service for the community,
Yeah,
a place where
I guess you
teenagers
could
could work.
say that.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for coming in. This has been a treat.